Shalom everybody, James Trim here, and today I want to talk to you about the 5 Satans. You may have thought there was just one, but there's 5. Before we get going, I need to ask you to please donate to support these videos. You can do that by clicking on the donate link in the video description down below, or you can send donations by PayPal to donations@wnae.org. I also want to ask you to please like these videos, subscribe to this channel so that you'll get notifications when new videos come up, and that also helps us build our numbers. We're trying to get, we're almost to 3,000 subscribers, and we're trying to build it to even more, of course. Let us know what you think in the comments, in the video comments, and all of these things help build our presence with the YouTube algorithms. They're looking at how many likes you're getting per views, and we get a lot of likes per views, by the way. They are looking at whether people are commenting and interacting, and of course your subscriber base, and all that then makes YouTube's algorithm decide to recommend this video to people that are not already subscribers. So please do all these things to help us build our audience, and share these videos with your friends on social media. That also gets these out to more people and helps us build our audience. And now let's talk about the 5 Satans. I want to start by saying that the word Satan, which we're used to in English, is not a name. In Hebrew, it's actually Ha-Satan. The Ha means the. It's the Satan. You never attach the to a proper noun in Hebrew or in English. Satan is a Hebrew word that means adversary. And so it's not actually a name, it's a title. What's really ironic is that we've taken the one that did not have, I say the 5, but specifically the one that we are usually talking about in that context, the evil one. We usually we take that one and we have turned around and turned his title into a name, given him a name, even though he was in Scripture, it's just a title. And at the same time, we've taken the one who has a name in Scripture and reduced it to a title, so that the name of Yahweh becomes replaced with the title Lord. Okay. So with that said, I think it makes a lot more sense to you, perhaps, that there are 5 adversaries. There's actually more, but 5 that hold that specific title. And even though there may be one that is the serpent, etc., there are 5. Okay, so let's start with a passage of Torah to help us understand these things. That's always a great thing to start with Torah, isn't it? So let's start in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 7. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives whomsoever they chose. And Yahweh said, My spirit shall not abide in man forever, for that he also is flesh, therefore shall his days be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days also after that, when the sons of Elohim came into the daughters of men, and they bore them children to them. The same were the mighty men that were of old, men of renown. And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented Yahweh that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. And Yahweh said, I will blot out man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and creeping thing, and fowl of the air, for it repents me that I've made them. Genesis chapter 6, 1 through 7. Now, fortunately, you probably had a Bible to look that up, But I just remembered I want to let you know that in the video description, there is a link that you can click for the handouts that we use for this video so that you can follow along. It's a PDF file. So be sure to click that, and that way you can follow along. Some of these are right out of the Bible, but some of them aren't, and so that will be very helpful for you. All right, so the second page of our handouts is titled 2nd Kepha, Jude, and 1st Enoch. Who were these sons of Elohim? And we did a whole video on this, by the way, on Hasatan, the Satan, Hasatan, and the fallen angels, or the demons. It was titled the Untold Story of Satan and the Demons. And so that's good background information for this video, but you don't have to have it, but it is helpful background information to help before moving into the more advanced version of the 5 Satans. So who were these sons of Elohim? The book of Enoch tells us that these sons of Elohim were angels who had left their first estate. 2nd Kepha chapter 2 verses 2 through 10 says, "And especially those who walk according to the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise authority. They are presumptuous, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignitaries." And Jude 1, 6 through 8, "And the angels who did not keep their first estate, but left their own habitation, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day, as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them in similar manner of these, having given themselves over to sexual immorality and gone after strange flesh, and set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Likewise also the dreamers defile the flesh, reject authority. These dreamers defile the flesh, reject authority, and speak evil of rulers." And finally, 1st Enoch chapter 6, verses 1 through 6. "And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels of the children of heaven saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Shemichazah, who was their leader, said to them, I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered and said to him, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by imprecations not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then they all swore together, and bound themselves by imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Yared on the mount of Mount Harmon, and they called it Mount Harmon because they had sworn and bound themselves by imprecations upon it. So the book of Enoch tells us that these fallen angels became subjects of Satan, or Hasatan. 1st Enoch chapter 54 verse 6. And Michael and Gabriel and Raphael and Penuel shall take hold of them on that great day, and cast them on that day into the burning furnace, that Yahweh Tzevaot may take vengeance on them for their unrighteousness in becoming subject to Satan, and leading astray those who dwell on the earth. Now, as I said before, Satan is a title, not a name. Ironically, as I said before, we've given a name to the one that was only a title, and a title to the one that had a name. Okay, so the book of Enoch also makes a very interesting statement in 1st Enoch chapter 40 verse 7. It says, And I heard the fourth voice fending off the Satans, plural, or the adversaries, in other words, the Satans, and forbidding them to come before Yahweh of hosts to accuse them who dwell on the earth. Now, when we hear Satan's in the plural today, it's a shock to us. But in fact, when we understand that the word Satan just means adversary in Hebrew, or it's actually Satan, when Satan means adversary in the Hebrew, then the idea that there are adversaries, plural, doesn't seem strange at all. All right, so now let's turn to our next handout, 5 Satans. So after giving the names of the 20 leaders of the tens of fallen angels found in 1 Enoch chapter 6, verses 7 through 8, and they are repeated in 1 Enoch chapter 69, verses 2 through 3, the book of Enoch gives us a list of 5 leaders over 40s in chapter 69, verses 4 through 12, who are 5 Satans, or 5 adversaries to whom the fallen angels are subject. These appear to be the Satans referred to in 1 Enoch chapter 40, verse 7. Now this portion of the book of Enoch, 1 Enoch chapter 69, has only survived in Ethiopic. However, I'm going to endeavor to reach behind the Ethiopic in this video and to the original Hebrew of the verses in question. So verse 4, the name of the first is Yacon. That is, the one who led astray all the sons of Elohim and brought them down to the earth and led them astray through the daughters of men. So the original Hebrew behind Yacon is probably Yakom, rebel, one who rises up. However, in biblical Hebrew, this word simply means a living thing. Another possibility is Yakamam, which is a name used twice in the Tanakh, and it means he who gathers the people together, or simply Yakam, he who gathers. Yacon appears to be a title for Shemi Chazah, because Shemi Chazah in the book of Enoch, chapter 6, led the 200 fallen angels astray to the daughters of men. So Yacon, the first Hasatan, appears to be Shemi Chazah. Number 5, verse 5, the second was named Asbeel. He imparted to the set-apart sons of Elohim evil counsel and led them astray so that they defiled their bodies with the daughters of men. Now, Asbeel is probably a scribal error for Cosbeel, who, while they still dwelt in the heavens, obtained the secret of the sacred name and the secret of its number so that they could be used in an oath that bound them together. As we read in verses 13 through 15 of the same chapter, and this is the number of Cosbeel, the chief of the oath, which he showed to the set-apart ones when he dwelt high above in glory, and its name is Bekah. Verse 14, this angel requested Michael to show him the hidden name, that he might enunciate it in the oath, so that those might quake before the name and oath. Verse 15, who revealed all that was in the secret of the who revealed all that was in the secret to the children of men. And this is the power of his oath, for it is powerful and strong, and he placed this oath, a K, in the hand of Michael. We're going to cover this in detail in a future video on the oath that binds the fallen angels. So put a pin in there, and we'll do a future video on that whole topic. But let's move on to verse 6, the third Satan. So it says the third was named Gadriel. He it is who showed the children of men all the blows of death, and led astray Eve, and showed the weapons of death to the sons of men, the shield and the coat of mail, and the sword for battle, and the weapons of death to the children of men. And from his hand they have proceeded against all who dwell on the earth, in that day forevermore. Gadriel appears to be the serpent, because it says he led astray Eve. He also appears to be a title or another title for Azazel, of whom the book of Enoch says in chapter 8, verses 1 through 2, Asael taught men to make swords of iron and knives and shields and breastplates of brass, and made known to them the metals that are excavated from the earth, and the art of working gold, and concerning silver, and bracelets, and ornaments, and concerning antimony, and eyeshadow, and all kinds of costly stones, and coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and being wicked, and they led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. So here, Enoch seems to be telling us that Azazel was the name of the serpent that was in the Garden of Eden. The Hebrew for Gadriel may mean mason of El or wall of El. Let's now look at the fourth. The fourth was named Penume. He taught the children of men the bitter and the sweet, and he taught them all the secrets of their wisdom, and instructed mankind in writing with ink and paper, and thereby many sinned from eternity to eternity until this day. The Hebrew title may have been Panah Eminah, he who turns from the faith, or Penemu, inside, since the book of Enoch itself refers to Enoch as Enoch the scribe. In chapter 12, verse 4, Enoch felt a parenthetical explanation was needed, so he goes on to say in verses 10 and 11, for men were not created for such a purpose, to give confirmation to their good faith with pen and ink. For men were created exactly like the angels, to the intent that they should continue pure and righteous, and death, which destroys everything, could not have taken hold on them, but through this their knowledge they are perishing, and through this power it is consuming me. What he is saying here is that man was created to be immortal. And it was if you're immortal, you don't need to write things down so much. In other words, I don't need to write things down for somebody to read after I'm gone, because I'm here forever. And if they want to know what's in my head, they can just ask me. But the purpose of writing, a major purpose of writing, seems to be to pass from generation to generation information that would otherwise be lost. Okay. Going to verse 12, the fifth was named Kazdiah. This is he who showed the children of men all the wicked smitings of spirits and demons, and the smitings of the embryo in the womb, that it may pass away, and the smitings of the soul, the bites of the serpent, and the smitings which befall through the noontide heat, the son of the serpent named Tabaet. So the book of Enoch tells us that the fallen angels introduced abortion. And this abortion procedure is described as the children of men. It says, the smitings of the embryo in the womb, that it may pass away, verse 12. The original Hebrew for Kazdiah may have been Chesed Yah has favored, but in Aramaic it could be Kashdiah, Chaldeans, which seems more likely. In other words, the Babylonian. There is not just one adversary, Satan. There are 5 adversaries. By the way, this whole introduction of abortion by one of the Satans We'll do a whole video about that in the future, because there's a whole bunch of there's more information about that in the Book of Enoch, and we'll cover it. So there's not just one adversary, one Satan. There are 5 Satans. Only one of them is the serpent. Spiritual warfare is therefore much more complicated than you may have realized, because you're not just up against one adversary, you're up against 5. All right, I want to remind everybody to please donate to support these videos. You can donate by sending donations by PayPal to donations@wnae.org, or by simply clicking on the donate link in the video description. Without you, we cannot make these videos. And I want to ask you to please like the videos, subscribe to this video channel so that you'll get notifications and you'll help us build our numbers. We're almost to 3,000 subscribers. And please leave comments. Let us know what you think in the comments section. All these things are things that the YouTube algorithm looks to decide which videos to recommend to users. So we have good numbers on our likes to views ratios, and we want to continue that, and we want to get recommended to new viewers by YouTube's algorithm, and also share these videos with your friends. And that also on social media, that also helps get our videos out to new people, and helps us build our audience. Until next time, Shalom.